everyone. I'm here with Marta Kosa, who I met actually 3 years ago at Grace Hopper Conference, and I'll let her tell you the story.
I met Sylvia a couple of years ago in Arizona, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was just by chance, randomly. And it was cool because Sylvia was from Romania, and I have a connection to Central and Eastern Europe too through my family because my grandfather was born in Hungary. And Sylvia and I talked a lot, and it was great to meet her. And a year later, came to Houston, Texas, went to a little grocery store and restaurant to get something to eat, and I saw someone who looked familiar, and it ended up being Sylvia. And that was hard to believe because thousands and thousands of people were at this conference, and I got to meet her again. And we talked some more, and afterwards we became friends on Facebook and have kept in touch some, and it's been great. And we arranged to meet this year at this Grace Hopper conference again. And I'm so impressed with Sylvia. She's doing so much to help the young women in Romania get interested in computers through her Codette.ro group.
Yes. Oh, thanks so much, Marta. So I really want to learn more about you right now. Can you tell us your background first?
Yes, I was born in West Virginia, a state that's called the Mountain State, and it's very similar in a lot of ways to Transylvania. And I've had the good fortune to visit Transylvania for a few days and loved it. West Virginia is a pretty poor state dependent on coal mining. My great-grandfather came to West Virginia to work in the coal mines about 100 years ago, and he sent for his wife and son to come a few years later to America. And later my granddaddy had a little grocery store, and my grandparents didn't have much of a chance for a lot of education, but their kids went to college. And my father studied mathematics, and he taught mathematics at the university level for a few years, and he got interested in computers in the late 1970s, and he bought a Radio Shack TRS-80 computer, and back then it was state of the art, but a couple years later they called it the Trash 80. But the pixels on the screen were like this big, and it was a black and white screen. And he bought magazines that talked about programming with a language called BASIC, and I typed some of the programs in, and it was neat to get the computer to do stuff. There was a game that was very easy to win on the computer, but in real life I'm terrible at it. Have you heard of bowling?
I think so.
Where you roll a ball to knock over pins. I'm terrible at it in real life, but on the computer I could get a perfect score. And so I always liked mathematics, but I still wanted to be a kid and play with dolls and stuff too. But later I got interested in programming, and it's a new language, and you can be the boss. You can tell the computer just about anything because you work with, at the lowest level, you have zeros and ones, and those zeros and ones can be combined into pictures to make, combined into patterns to make pictures and music and do all kinds of wonderful things. The sky is the limit. And we see here, we're here at the Grace Hopper Conference with a balloon going up to the sky. And on the balloon, there are the binary numbers, zeros and ones. And that tells the computer what to do. And it's very fascinating. And I currently am a university faculty member at Tennessee Tech, a university in Tennessee, and I get to teach students. And I wish I had students like Sylvia in my class too. I do have some great students, but there's so much to learn, and some of the things that I teach today did not exist when I went to school. And it's nice to go to conferences and be exposed to new things.
Grace Hopper is wonderful in this point, and exposed to new things and make new friends and meet old ones and so on. So you teach. Can you tell us more about what you teach, what your students and so on?
I teach a wide variety of classes from freshmen beginning students all the way to graduate students. I've taught the mathematics and logic for computer science. I've taught algorithms. I've taught discrete math, what all these zeros and ones mean, along with the logic behind them. And I've taught classes on computer networks, and I have taught classes on different kinds of programming languages as well, but a wide variety.
You know, I really like the fact that your background is in mathematics and computer science, and I remember when there were these Barbie dolls and they used to say math is hard. Well, not in that tone, it's like math is hard or something like that. What do you think about that? Should girls everywhere just consider that math is hard? And
No, they should try it before they decide that, and it can be fun. There are lots of beautiful patterns in mathematics. And now there is a computer engineer Barbie, which is a good thing, and now there's a game developer Barbie, which is a good thing as well.
I actually didn't know about the game developer Barbie. I'll look her up.
Yes, I just bought one on Amazon
Cool.
recently.
So I love your background. I love the fact that you're into teaching and giving to others what you yourself have experimented. And I also know that you're involved with ACM-Women. Can you tell us a bit about that?
So ACM stands for the Association for Computing Machinery, and it is an organization for people involved in computing, both at the academic level and the professional level. And it's been around since 1947, so it's very old in the field of computing. And ACMW is the Women's Committee, which has been started more recently. I wish I knew exactly which year it had been started, but I don't
No problem.
offhand. But ACMW works to encourage women in computing, and they help sponsor small regional computing conferences to get women together, because in a lot of places women are like 15 to 20% or maybe even less of the representation in the field of computing, and some women feel really isolated. Sometimes when I have taught classes, I have been the only female in the room, and I'm the teacher. And don't get me wrong, I like my male students a lot, but it's nice to have more women students around. And ACMW helps support students to go to conferences and present their research. They also help organize the regional women in computing conferences, which are smaller scale versions of the Grace Hopper Conference, to get people together, hear speakers, have some small career fairs and networking. And there are some regional women in computing conferences in Europe. There is one coming up, I think at the end of the month or the beginning of next month, in Cyprus, the island there.
Mm-hmm. Nice. You know, I can really relate to what you just said, because as a teaching assistant, I actually have classes in which the whole class in front of me is made out of just boys, and I have to ask, where are the women?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much, Martha, for giving me this wonderful interview, this great opportunity to talk to you again, and I'm so glad I met you again.
Oh,
And this is a pocket Codette,
Oh.
and it's for you to remember us.
Well, thank you very much. Mulțumesc.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.